Good morning. Today we're going to be doing fish prep, and we're going to be prepping this amazing turbot which have been supplied by Matthew Stevens Fish, landed in Newlyn as well, just down the road. Amazing fish. Now when we get fish whole delivered to the college, what we need to do, and we train all apprentices and all students to do, is we've got to quality check it. So a fish that's been freshly delivered should smell of the sea, shouldn't have a strong smell to it. It should be a nice shiny fish, and it should have a slight film on it as well. Okay, so we look inside, just make sure everything is clean and clear. This is a lovely specimen. So you can see the lovely colour pigmentation on this side of the fish, and then on the other side it's white, obviously because the fish is a ground feeder, a bottom feeder, so it's on the bottom and it buries itself in the sand, hence the colour, to stay camouflaged from predators and so it can feed. So it pushes all its energy into the colour on the front, where it's more important. And also these bits here are more meaty than the second side here. So on a flat fish, it classically has 4 fillets. 2 on this side and 2 on this side. First of all, we're going to make sure our knives are nice and sharp. I've got a filleting knife here, as you can see, nice flex on the knife that will help me go round the bones of the fish. Whenever you sharpen a knife, just always make sure that you clean the blade afterwards. So, I always find it easier to start on the reverse side of the fish. As you can see, this sits on the board nicely with the way the fish is naturally shaped. So it makes this side a little bit harder to fillet, so I always start on this side, make it a bit easier for myself. And I'm always moving the fish round that I'm happy with, so it's safe for me to prep. So I'm going to cut, first of all, just going to cut around the head. This main fillet here goes all the way up here. You can see that Mother Nature has also given us a lovely guidance line to go with, all the way at the top. So I'm just going to take the knife, just go around the head, just to there, just to give me a little guide of where to go up to. And again, like I said before, moving the fish that's more comfortable for me. I'm going to go around there, like so, but not completely take the head off at this point. So, let's start with fillet 1. So, using that lovely line there, going to run the knife down. Again, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on the knife because we need to have a sharp knife, and the knife will do the work for us. And I'm just going to gently, all I'm doing is gentle strokes into the fish, like so. Keeping the knife close to the bone so I'm not going into the flesh too much. I'm just going to turn it around so I can just come over to this top bit again, making it comfortable for myself. Just around the head, like so. Then back to those even strokes. Okay, I have cut into the flesh a little bit there. Again, not always perfect, but that is our first fillet off. So for a minute, we'll put that in on our tray. That's fillet number 1. And you can see the shape of the fillet that I've taken off. Right, we're going to go on this second fillet here on this side. So let's turn it over. And again, just run that knife down again. So obviously you've got the peak of the spine that we're just going to run our knife around. I've got a bit of roe in here, so just take the roe out. Then we have the second fillet. Again, I've nipped slightly into that one as well. We'll trim and skin these up in a minute. Fillet number 2. Just get rid of this roe. It just makes it a little bit easier for us to prep. So that's one side done. So let's turn it over and do the side with a bit more meat on. So here we go. Down the middle. Pretty much the same as the other side. This fillet will be slightly thicker than the underside. A lovely sound there. You just know that my knife is nice and close to the bones. Okay, third fillet off, like so. Now for the last fillet, the big fillet here. And I'm going to work up and around the head first. And then that line again down the back. So I can start taking the fillet off. Okay, there we go, final fillet off, the large fillet. So that's the frame, and you should be able to see light coming through the frame that I've got most of the meat off. So what we've talked about in every tutorial is about minimising on waste. So flat fish bones turbot in particular are the best bones for stock. But before we take it to the stock pot, I just want to see, yeah, okay, I made a few little mistakes here and there like we all do when we're prepping things, but can we use this? Yes, we can. So we're going to just take a spoon, just spoon any bits of meat that are left. Very little. Again on the other side, a little bit up here at the head. And these bits can be used in mousses or fish pie. We don't like to waste. Right, so let's take the head off. Let's use the chef's knife for that. So the head's off. Now, we don't tend to put the heads in the stocks because it does make them go a little bit cloudy. We'll just use the bones. So we're going to cut the bones up, ready for stock. Now, being a big fish, these bones are quite tough to get through, so place your knife in there. If you haven't got a meat cleaver, a pan on the back of the knife. Apart from waking the neighbours up, it will do the job. And again on this side. And then the frames can just be folded and they're ready to be washed and go into stock. We don't throw the heads away just yet because we can cut out the cheeks to be used for ragouts and what have you. Okay, now that we've broken the fish down, we're going to break it down into portions. So, let's go with the white side first. So we're just going to trim the feather off a little bit. And now we need to think about portion size. I think there's 2 portions in that fish, so let's have a look. We're just going to cut the end off there, and then just in half. Just trim that little bit off there, just to tidy it up. That one there. There's 2. And we'll do the same with the large fillet. Just trim again the frills, feathers off. Trying to keep the natural shape of the fish. Again, 2 good portions there as well. And now the smaller fillets. Let's start with the white one. So what we're going to do is we're going to skin it. Now to skin a fish, what you're going to do is let the knife do the work. So what we're going to do is get the fillet on the board. I'm just going to pinch a little bit into the flesh. Then I'm going to grab hold of the skin tightly. And I'm just going to wiggle the skin slightly. Also just moving the knife slightly as well. And off it comes. Just going to trim some of the belly off here. Then we're just going to cut these down into goujons. Goujons can be panade and fried, either shallow or deep, and obviously really nice with light salad and tartar sauce. Final fillet. Just trim it up. Again, we've got that lovely dark side, so we'll use this as another portion. Trim off there. Little trim there. And there you have another portion. Now, what you can also do is, although I haven't done it with these, is just cut slightly into the skin, like so. And then when it comes to the cooking, it just gives chance for the heat to penetrate inside the flesh. So let's have a look at the fish that we prepped today. So it's all broken down. Here's the waste, but it's not going to be waste. We're going to make sure we use it up. 50 to 55% of the fish is not prime cut, but we'll come back to where we can use that in a minute. So let's look at the portions that we've got. So we've got 5 prime good size portions to cook, some goujons and some trim that we'll use in mousse later on. This fish costs £45 to buy. A portion in a restaurant with a garnish, you'd probably look at about £20 to £25 selling price. So we've got quite a good yield out of it. Again, I have been generous with the portions. But then let's look what we can use here. We're going to make an amazing stock with the bones. We're going to use the cheeks in ragu and possibly use other bits and bobs. I've kept the skin as well because we can dry out the skin and make crispy skin. And I've kept everything, so we kind of make it into a stock or turn it into a mousse. Thank you.